So let's get started. Hello to everyone joining us live or watching the recording later. Thank you for being here and for your interest in today's topic. My name is Martina. I'm part of our She's Tech team, and I'm happy to be here today and to be your moderator today. I realized that actually multitasking has always been a huge part of my life. So I can't imagine living without it. And I'm sure that many of you will recognize yourselves, your experiences and challenges in this topic during the webinar. And today's session will be very helpful for all of us. So please feel free to share your thoughts, your questions in the chat during the session. And also, I'm excited to introduce our speaker for today. It's Martyna Myszograj, a PhD student at Poznan University of Technology. Martina will talk today about some myths of multitasking. Also, will explain how to set clear goals, and we'll share some great productivity tools and tips. Actually, before we start, I would like to quickly talk about our She's Tech conference and She's Tech Hub. I know some of you already know about this, but for those who are new, I will share a short intro. While I'm doing this, please support our tradition and write your name and where you're joining from in the chat. It's always fun to see where everyone is from and a great chance to learn more about each other. So now about She's Tech. So far, we've hosted 2 conferences. The last one was in October. I still can't believe it's already been almost a month since the conference. Together, our online conferences brought almost 6,000 attendees and 100 speakers from around the world. And She's Tech, our main focus of She's Tech is, first of all, supporting women in tech and promoting gender equality is the most important thing for our community and for our conference. Also, we created the She's Tech Hub. It's a community to connect and inspire women in tech. In the hub, you can also follow different events, different activities, also discuss some industry trends or share your experience and make some connections. And you can also earn our She coins by joining some activities, and these She coins can be used for some learning or mentoring opportunities. So we will share the link in the chat, so feel free to join us if you haven't already. So that's all from my side. Yeah, for the introduction part, I hope I didn't miss anything important, but if I did, I will tell you later. Now I pass the mic to our speaker. So Martina, welcome. It's really great to have you with us. How are you feeling today? I've also noticed that while preparing for webinars, I often discover something new and interesting, even on topics I thought I know very well. It's really exciting to keep learning, and it's interesting to know, did you feel the same or something like that while preparing for this webinar? Did you get any insights?
So first of all, hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today, and thank you for this amazing introduction. But yes, I actually learned a lot during the preparation of that webinar, and I will later also talk about it a little bit, about what somehow changed the way I always thought about multitasking and the whole idea of it. It was amazing to learn new things, and I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to share those thoughts and insights with everyone tonight. So
Martina, can I ask you stop sharing your presentation just to check, because I think that we have some issues on our YouTube. So let's check if our attendees
Right.
us, because they can't, if I'm not mistaken, they can see just presentation and hear our voices. So hello, hello everyone. I hope you can see us. Oh yeah, great. They can. So let's continue and maybe let's start again
Okay.
sharing your presentation. Let's do it again.
Okay. Is it okay now? Is it visible?
I hope so. Just a second. I'll check the YouTube. Yeah, I hope. Yeah. Great. Let's start.
Okay. So again, thank you everyone for deciding to listen to me today. But before talking about the topic, mastering goals and the art of multitasking, I thought it's a good idea to say a few words about myself and why I decided to talk about goals and multitasking. So my name is Martina, and I graduated with a master's degree in biomedical engineering and started PhD studies in the discipline of mechanical engineering this year. But I'm also a third year student of English philology, so currently I'm also in the middle of writing my BA paper. During those years of studies, I've always enjoyed doing additional projects such as being part of science clubs, writing articles, or presenting at conferences. Also, I've known since start that to do a PhD and such additional activity might actually happen to have an impact on achieving that. And I believe it did, as the recruitment process went quite smoothly for me, I believe. I've also had the honor to be awarded a few scholarships for my academic work. So I believe that long-term goal planning paid off well for me. But it still doesn't quite catch the idea of talking about multitasking today. So I'd like to also share with you um, a little bit about my projects that I've done during those years. And as you can see, one of the biggest projects that I've done, and also I think I was dedicated to, was the research on oxalic structures and spinal endoprothesis. It was the research area for my thesis for both bachelor's and master's degree in biomedical engineering. I've also done a small conceptual project on bionic hand prosthesis. It's kind of emerged from one of my in-class projects, so it was really fun to work on that more. But however, I somehow did a lot of projects in biomedical engineering. I've also didn't focus only on that. I've also had the opportunity to publish a few scientific papers on microplastics, ethical issues in healthcare, and um, the medical waste products. So, as I've already said, I'm also a student of English philology, and I wanted to somehow connect those two majors as well and to do a fun project connecting those two completely different fields. And I decided to do a conference paper on the representation of people with disabilities in children's media. And it was one of the nicest, I think, projects that I've done because it had quite a huge impact on the conference, and people talked to me about it, saying that it was something important for them to hear. So I believe none of those projects, even though I loved making them and spent a lot of time on them, they weren't taking my time fully. There was always also another side project or a little bigger one done in the meantime. So I've tried to do all the things that I somehow wanted to do, and always tried to keep myself busy with smaller and bigger projects in the same time, in the long periods of time. And that's how the idea of today's topic came up, like multitasking and setting clear, smart goals. So coming back to the main topic of today's presentation, I will start with an overview of knowledge about multitasking, some myths and truths on that topic, but I will also try to present proper use of concept of multitasking in everyday life, and then I will move on to the topic of clear and smart goals, and at the end of the presentation, I will share some tips and tools that I personally like and use. They obviously don't have to work for everyone, but I think it's a nice chance to share them, and maybe someone would like to try out, and maybe they will fit them as well. So starting with the definition of multitasking from the Cambridge Dictionary, multitasking is person's or product's ability to do more than one thing at a time. I think it's quite a simple idea that also sounds amazing because it sounds like a way to do and achieve more at the same time. And that's why when She's team agreed on the topic, I thought about making the most positive and encouraging presentation on multitasking. But then I searched online for TED Talks and some experts' opinion on multitasking, and I did a quick reality check because those are the three TED Talks that showed up first. One look at the titles, like multitasking is the mind killer, multitasking exposed, multitasking is not your friend. And everyone may realize that those are not the positive and encouraging talks on multitasking that I really hoped for. It turns out that multitasking can divide our attention. When you switch between tasks, say writing and listening, or having a talk during the meeting, that's okay, but you're also not fully focused on either of the tasks. And studies have shown that multitasking can reduce our productivity by up to 40%. And why? Because each time we shift our attention, we lose some seconds or even minutes to reorient our brain on that tasks. So this phenomenon is known as switching costs, and it adds up and makes tasks actually take longer than they would if we just focus on one task and then go to the other one. And for an example with that, we can think about reading a book while checking our phone. We might miss some key points in the text or even lose the train of thoughts completely. So multitasking actually can scatter our focus and might be not really beneficial for us. And another significant downside of multitasking is the drop in the quality of our work. Because when we split our attention and try to focus on everything, then we might make some errors because it's like a surgeon texting during a surgery. He's not going to focus fully on that, and then the errors might just be natural and they might just happen. So complex tasks, and especially those requiring critical thinking, might actually demand our undivided attention to be done well. But to sum up, while multitasking might seem and be promoted like a time-saving and creative strategy, it can also backfire on us and lead to a burnout. But to come back to the positive note about multitasking that I really wanted to share today, it is also possible to work with it and not get exhausted. So here are the few facts and insights on how to create a positive multitasking routine. First of all, there is a thing called continuous partial attention, and it takes more. It is about that it takes more cognitive effort to switch back and forth between two things than to actually focus on one thing and get it done. And the first example here is doing dishes while having cookies in the oven. So those are two separate tasks that we can easily do at the same time, because we just have to keep in mind that we have cookies in the oven, so we not forget about it. But we still have to wait for them to get ready, and in the meantime, we can do our dishes. So that's completely fine, and there is no risk of doing something wrong. But another example is writing an email during the talk, and actually there are some things that might go wrong because we cannot fully focus on two such focus demanding things, because we have to write an email, so we have to think about what we want to write and to whom and in what way. But also we should focus on the talk, so we know about what about are we talking. And this comes to the conclusion that multitasking might work with easier tasks, such as those cookies and doing dishes. It's way easier to perform a few easier tasks and at the same time, rather than trying to perform a few tasks that require our full attention to do them properly. And I found another a little bit more positive TED Talk during this searching for information. And a little myth is that we think multitasking is about performing a few tasks at the same time. And it's how multitasking is promoted and how we define it, like even in a Cambridge dictionary, that's a definition I shared today. And that's not entirely true, because what we do and call multitasking, in fact, is task switching, because we cannot do a few essays at the same time or a few projects at the same time. And then we have to just switch between the tasks to do them in, let's call it, the same time. But in this tech talk, there was promoted an idea of slow motion multitasking. So this is something that I did for almost my whole life. And I believe that a lot of people do that and they don't know about it. So slow motion multitasking is having multiple projects on the go at the same time, and moving backwards and forwards between those topics as the mood takes or as the situation demands, like for example, deadlines or meetings. So in this concept of multitasking, we can have two big projects that are supposed to be done in a month, and we can spend one day on doing one task and then on the other day just trying to keep on track with the other project. It still demands from us a little bit of focus and multitasking, maybe a little bit adapting to the topic. But I think it's a good idea to change the topic sometimes and not spend a whole month only on one topic, because we might get bored on that topic about it, and we might just not like working on it anymore if we have to work on it constantly. So there are some key points and tips to remember about multitasking, and I think one of the most important things to remember is that we have a few types of multitasking. So simultaneous multitasking, which we all know and we all think about it when we say multitasking. So doing a few things at the same time, but also task switching. So switching between the tasks in the period of an hour or 2 hours, something like that. but also this new concept of slow motion multitasking. So having a few projects in the longer run. And benefits of multitasking might seem a little bit obvious, but they are efficiency, increased productivity, and adaptability. I think they are all connected with the idea of staying creative and not getting bored uh, with the tasks and the work that we do. But there are also a few challenges and a little misconceptions like decreased focus, cognitive load, and quality trade-offs. So those are real risks that might happen if we don't organize our multitasking correctly. So I also thought about some tips for effective multitasking, like pairing simple tasks, which we can do automatically without any need of incredible focus on each of them, but also using time blocks. So we can dedicate a specific time block for if you have focused work, alternating with lighter multitasking periods to avoid this burnout. Because we are just people, we cannot stay focused for, I don't know, 8 hours of work. We should just try to get about an hour or two on the full focus, and then maybe come to the lighter multitasking between light things like taking out the trash or I don't know, sending an email. We don't really need that much focus on that, and we can do it quickly and let our mind rest a little bit. Another one is prioritizing tasks. And this is the tip that I don't really personally like because I don't think that would work for me. But it is about identifying and focusing on high priority tasks first, and then going to the smaller, easy ones. And I personally don't do this because I don't think it would work for me. I usually like to work on something that I'm in mood for that day because I can sometimes wake up on that day and just have this amazing idea for the project. And then I just want to sit and do that project, not the important one or something that has a deadline sooner than the other. And another one is to limit our distractions, like maybe someone doesn't like to work with people walking around or with music, or maybe someone cannot focus really in silence, so they need that music. So it's really personal thing to limit the distractions that may have an influence on someone. And the last one is setting clear goals. So formulating clear goals to know what we want to achieve. And that takes us to the second part of the presentation on the power of clear goals. And as we have here another definition. So what is a clear goal? A clear goal is a well-defined, actionable target that provides direction, focus, and motivation for individuals or teams. But why clear goals matter? When goals are clear, they can sharpen our focus, making it easier to allocate resources or prioritize, make our actions matter. But they also can boost our motivation because they provide us with an end point to which we can go and we can try to achieve it. So with some measurable benchmarks, we can actually track our progress, which then becomes visible. And I think this is another motivation source because we can see that we're making a progress with that task, and it will just be another motivation for us to work on it and finish it as soon as we can. And in a group setting, clear goals might help team members to align and stay responsible for their roles or maybe to change something. And as I read, clear goals are proven to enhance performance and success because they reduce this kind of ambiguity and guide purposeful action. So, especially in teams, there is no doubt who is supposed to do what and what they are supposed to do, and in what deadlines on or in what way they're supposed to be responsible for anything. So when goals are specific, then individuals or teams can make some plans and strategic decisions to stay motivated, track progress over time, and get the task done. So obviously the benefits of clear goals for collaboration are essential, like not only for those individuals' success, but also for effective teamwork. In collaborative environments, clear goals can provide a shared purpose and help align efforts. And then each teamwork can understand their role and objectives. Collaboration becomes way smoother and more efficient. So there is a huge reduction of misunderstandings or possible conflicts. And that leads us to the task that I prepared. I thought it might help us to see the rules of clear goals, and that would be the easiest way to maybe think about how to do that on a daily basis. So try to think about something you want to achieve and try to write it down on maybe on a chat or just think about it. You don't have to share it with us if you don't want to. And it really doesn't matter if it's like a career goal or personal life. It's just supposed to be the goal that you really want to achieve and you're like maybe excited about it.
So maybe while our attendees texting into the chat or making some notes, I also will read some comments. First of all, from Andrei, he mentioned like agrees that full focus for 8 hours is very difficult and it becomes impossible if you don't do some routine handly work. Yeah, I agree as well with Andrei. And also Andre mentioned, I want to achieve a AWS certificate as I can achieve it. Great, Andre. We support you on this.
Yes, I hope it will turn out great for you and you'll achieve it smoothly and without any obstacles because they can somehow um, even sometimes kill our motivation. So I don't know if we can go further maybe already.
I will read maybe one more comment from Sophia. I would like to become an expert in my field, enhance my personal brand, and potentially monetize it. Wow, great, Sophia.
Nice.
Wish you good luck. But yeah, I think we can proceed further.
Okay. So now I'm going to talk about your goals. I set a SMART goal. And as you can see, a SMART goal should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So the first rule is to make it specific. What do you want to achieve? What actions you have to take to achieve it? So it will be really specific. What are you expecting yourself to do? What you should work on during that time, and um, just maybe even the way how to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. Another one is make it measurable. Track the time or actions taken to achieve it. If we try to achieve something that is a long-term goal, then it might be a little bit disappointing or killing our motivation if after, I don't know, a month or 2 months, we don't see any results. So that would be really nice, I think, to set the goal in the way that would also make it possible for us to track the goal and the progress. Then we would think that, okay, I didn't achieve it yet, but I'm on the right track. I'm doing some progress and I can track it, I can see it. Another one is making it achievable. We can also split those goals into smaller stages or goals. So we wouldn't really disappoint ourselves in the meantime, and um, we should know that we are able to achieve the goal that we set. It shouldn't be something, I don't know, like I want to invent magic. We shouldn't do that because that's not really possible, and we wouldn't be happy with the outcome of that goal and our work on it. And the next one is to make it relevant. The goal should directly contribute to successful results. So when we achieve our set goal, I think it would be really nice if it also had a positive, optimistic outcome. So then we would be really happy and excited about finishing the tasks and achieving the goal. But also maybe we would have this motivation to work even further and think about another goals and ambitions that we would like to achieve in the future. And one, in my opinion, of like the most reason reasonable ones, make it time-based. Set a specific deadline so you would work on it and you could see how much progress you did in that time. Maybe like give it a month, and after that month, you can also just move the deadline. But you will see after the month of work, what did you do and how much of the progress you did. And then you will know in what time you can expect to actually achieve that goal and still be excited and happy about it. And here I so an example of one smart goal is I want to read more books. And there are some issues with it because this goal lacks details about how many books we want to read, a time frame, maybe any specific plan, and it makes it actually hard to measure because how we want to measure then if we achieved that goal. And a smart goal on the same thing would be I will read 12 books a year by reading at least 30 minutes every day, focusing on personal development and fiction genre. So it is specific because it specifies the number of books and daily reading time. It is measurable because progress is, it can be easily tracked by counting the books read each month. It is achievable because reading one book a month is realistic, I think, for most of people. But it's also relevant because there are some genres chosen which are purposeful, probably linked to personal interests or maybe another goals that we want to achieve. And it is time-based because it defines that 1 year time frame. So it breaks down into one book per month and it's completely doable. And we can track it and stay motivated during that year. But we stay motivated and excited about achieving our goals. Sometimes we need to have to overcome some obstacles and make it difficult. And there are some common obstacles and their impact. We have external obstacles like time constraints, deadlines, maybe lack of resources if we want to start our own company business. And there are also unforeseen circumstances like maybe an illness and diseases, something like we don't really want to think about it, but they always might happen and it's completely natural, but it also kills our motivation. But there are also internal obstacles like self-doubt, fear of failure, procrastination, or lack of focus. And those are mostly in our heads. They're like obstacles that if we want to, we can try to overcome them and do our goal either way. And these challenges can derail progress and decrease our confidence even more. But I think there always is a way to overcome an obstacle. We can work on that, and we shouldn't lose our motivation just because something bad happened. It's completely natural. This is how the life works. But there are strategies for overcoming those obstacles to make it maybe a little bit easier. And the first one is to break it down, divide those large problems that may arise into smaller tasks that we can actually manage at once. And another one is obviously to seek support because we don't have to do our everything by ourselves. We can seek for mentors, peers, or amazing communities such as She's Tech community that supports women. And I think this is amazing that in nowadays world we don't have to know in person someone to ask for help. We can always look for help online and in such communities. But we also can reframe challenges, so view obstacles as opportunities to try to learn and grow rather than setback from them. And those yes, and staying motivated through challenges might be, as I said, difficult, but setting clear goals or celebrating progress, even the smallest one, might be really helpful to keep on working on achieving that goal. We should try to maintain somehow a positive mindset and build our routine and those tasks. But in this routine, we shouldn't really forget about celebration of the progress and thinking about how much we already achieved, because that's also important. It's moving us forward. So we shouldn't forget about it. And one of the last slides is tools and techniques for productivity. Those are the ones that I personally like and use. Obviously, they might not work for everyone, but I absolutely love task management tools like Trello or to-do lists. So I have a planner and I just write down each task that I have to do and maybe some priorities that I have for that week. And I absolutely love checklists. I love to just mark that I checked out something of that list and I did it. But also there is this important thing about scheduling. So Google Calendar, this is something that I use and fits me well because I have a few things, like two majors right now. So I can just add another calendar for each thing and see what I have to do this week. But also there are focus apps like Forest Freedom that I recently use. We can set the time that we want to focus on something. And if we don't use our phone and do our tasks like on the full time that we set, there is a tree growing. So we can grow our own little forest by staying focused on our tasks. So that's pretty cool. I think I really love it recently. And to end the presentation, I have one of the most inspirational quotes, I think, for me. You can fix anything but a blank page by Nora Roberts. And I would really like everyone to maybe remember from that webinar at least just that one sentence, like if you want to do something and achieve something, just try it. We can make mistakes, we can not really see the outcomes of it that quickly, but we can fix that later. And I think that's the message that I wanted to pass today. So thank you so much for your attention.
Martina, thank you. Thanks for a great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. And thanks for this final slide, this important quotes that I think we feel this quote. I think a lot of our participants for today as well. So let's move to the Q&A session and dedicate last minutes, how many minutes? I think 10 minutes for it. So I see several questions in the chat for you. So let's start with the first. And the first question from Elara, our regular participant, if I'm not mistaken. And this question is, have to decide which tasks to focus on when everything seems just as important and urgent. Yeah, great question.
To be honest, I don't know. I'm working on that as much as I can. I always have almost the full list. I'm actually lacking the place on the list to even put those tasks that I have to do in my planner. And there are just days that I'm going through that list and just like thinking, okay, I do not work on that today. Absolutely not. This has a deadline till tomorrow, so I have to do that. And it's just going one by one and deciding if I'm even able to do that today. So I'm trying to prioritize it somehow for myself and try to think about what I'm even able to do with the time frame that I get that day, and if it's really important to get that for today or if it just could wait a day more. So I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest, because I'm trying to work it out myself as well. But that's the way I do.
Yeah, thank you. It's I can't agree more that it's really hard question, but thanks for your answer and for sharing some tips and your own experience with us. Next question is from Olga. Just a second. When everything feels too much and deadlines are coming, while still have so many tasks, how can I calm myself down? And maybe you can recommend quick tricks to handle the stress.
I really would recommend like power naps, or maybe even getting an hour of time for ourselves, like a little self-care, to just try to relax and to not really think about how much you have to do. If you don't have an hour, make it 15 minutes or something like that. But try to also remember about yourself and about your being like well and feeling well in those tasks, because we can stress a lot, and those are like so many deadlines and so many things. Think maybe something could be postponed or changed, the deadline could be changed, because we cannot do everything on the spot. It requires time, our attention, or also our energy. During those studies and like two majors, I had a lot of like tests and projects, and sometimes I had to I don't know, cut a night and like not sleep at all, and stay just all night working on that. And even then I tried to I don't know, make a tea every 2 hours, or just watch an episode of or even not an episode, like 10 minutes of some TV show. And it really helped me to try also find time for a self-care, 15 minutes or something like this. But I know it is difficult, and maybe I would also try to reduce some tasks to not doing it on a full 100%. They not all have to be done so perfectly. Like some are good as just they are.
Thank you. Thanks. Agree with you absolutely, and I also try to fix at least my mind on the fact that I have to have a rest and just change the picture at least, not working all time. Yeah, we have a third question and some comments, and I will read some comments after. So third question from Sophia. Have to say no without feeling guilty when I already have too much on my plate. Oh, Sophia, I feel your pain.
Me too.
So maybe you have something to share with Sophia, some
I
tips.
don't know. I really don't feel like a person who could advise on everything because I'm working those things right now, even myself. But I had a few years of such projects and also partnerships. And some people could even on Sunday morning email me with saying, "Would you get the thing done for tomorrow?" Uh, and I already had like a few projects and so many lab reports and projects and conferences, deadlines. Everything was piling up, and that one person asked me if I could prepare a presentation about all of projects that our science club did. So it was supposed to be like about half an hour presentation on the next day when I already was maybe like 3 nights without sleep or something like that. And I tried to say no, but this person didn't really let me to. I tried to explain that I have so many projects, I'm really exhausted. I don't know if I will be able to do that. And that person just said, "Yeah, you will find some time, you will manage it. I believe in you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great." Uh, Unfortunately, I then agreed and did it. Now I think after some time, I maybe somehow decided to also value my own time, and I just try to be as nice as possible, but always say no to the tasks that I know I will not be able to perform. So one thing that I could like maybe share and advise, we can always use for emails or SMS ChatGPT, like decline in a nice way, but so that no one could say you will manage it. If we don't know how to write something, I think ChatGPT it's working quite well on that right now. And then it will be written in the way that someone will know for sure that we are not able to do that. And we will still be nice because we can cover that as well.
Thank you. I think it was a great answer, and you really shared great recommendation. I also like it all for today's webinar. If you talk about some questions in the chat, I just read some comment from Elara. I admire people who can plan their life and personal goals like you do. I've tried several times, but I can only stick with it for a couple of months before I give up again. I think it's important not stop trying. So it's really a great result, and you, Laura, is a great example of people who don't give up. So it's like my own opinion, but I think you do a great job.
Thank you so much. I could only say to try to look out for many different things. There are so many apps right now. Like even this wood about forest thing that it grows, or Google Calendar, or maybe some physical planners. So I don't know. That's what I would say. maybe try out. There are so many new things that maybe something would speak to you and it will work just fine then.
Thank you. And I also want to ask you my own question because it's really interesting to get your opinion and to get your answer. Like, do you believe in splitting people into two categories? Yeah, like humanitarian, yeah, mindset and tech mindset. Because when I was in school, my teachers they said that I had an analytical mindset, but I feel really that I like and prefer some, I don't know, creative jobs as well.
No, I do not believe in that. I'm studying this biomedical engineering now, mechanical engineering. I've also started English philology. Those are two like completely different fields. But I think I feel good in both of them. Also, if anyone has any doubts about career paths or anything like that, try whatever you want. Like, don't listen to anyone saying, okay, but you did technical studies, so why bother with humanitarian linguistics? Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun experience, and I think that if anyone wants to just pursue science or linguistics or whatever, and they were like always told to be either humanitarian or this technician mind. It doesn't matter. Like if you want to, then you will work on it and you will achieve it for sure. And I will just be here and keep my fingers crossed for everyone.
Oh, thank you. I absolutely on your side, and I think you can be a great technical professionals and also write some books and so on, and be a great communitarian as well. So thank you. All right, everyone. It looks like we've reached the end of our session. Thank you so much for being here and participating in our webinar. Martina, a huge thank you thanks to you for your insightful presentation and for taking the time to answer all of our questions. So thank you all again for your participation. Don't forget to join our SheStack Hub, where you can share your insights, you can connect with others, and become a part of our supportive community of women in tech. So see you soon. Bye.
So thank you so much, and thank you for all questions, and obviously much thanks for SheStack team. It was a pleasure to work with you guys, and it was just a really fun and great experience for me as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great end of this day.
Thank you.